just in case. But yeah, so Thursday night training, guys, we're going to go over all of the like ins and outs of our life insurance policies, the two different kinds that we do. The insurance is the same, right? It's just like what kind of application are you submitting? And then if you guys have any specific questions, don't hesitate, and we'll get all of that stuff answered for you. Let me stop that, and then we'll get going. So if anybody missed anything from Tuesday night, as far as the incentives and stuff that's going on, we'll hit that really quick. But so why Primerica life insurance, right? We always joke and we say if it doesn't say Primerica on it when it comes to your life insurance, it's broken. There are some great companies out there, but I truly believe when you're comparing term products, ours is truly the best. And it's really because there's so much built into it. And we're going to go over all of that tonight. So $74 IBAs, it's really a $49 IBA with a 25 monthly POL, just to get that out there so everybody knows. This is over though on January 2nd. Now, for those of you guys that maybe have some extra premium built up, you're short on a recruit, this is one of those situations where sort of in the back of your mind, if you said, well, would I trade like 74 even for 200? Yeah, I would, right? Because the recruit credit, this is the only time you're ever actually incentivized at all to have somebody come in under you in the business. It's while you're in your field training bonus. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to get a license. It's literally just to bump your bonus in this situation. So just throwing that out there, right? Definitely don't miss it, right? Don't give it up. Because also, by the way, we can sort of reverse it. You would get at least a partial refund, so you would even get some of that back. For those of you that are licensed, right? On the call right now, licensed Matt, Jen, Traylyn, Jessica, Haley, Angela, Sue Ellen. You guys have a chance that has never existed before, right? It came around last month, but last month you had to do 5,000 and it was for a $400 bonus. This is personal premium. Go help five clients, right? This month they made it half as easy, doubled the bonus. Check it out. You go help two clients or one married client. You're going to make a $400 bonus. Now, if you're licensed, right, this cuts off by 22 December. Month end doesn't end until January 2nd, but if you're licensed, get going, right? This week and next week, get that premium in, guys. I want you to have a shot at a bonus. I really do. So let's get that done. All right. If you're brand new and you're working on your licensing, right, logging in within the first 24 hours puts a $50 bonus into your bonus account. That's always there. It doesn't go away. This is the one, though, where I don't know if this will be back next month. So if you have somebody brand new, or if you're in your pre-licensing window yourself and you log into your app and you see that cool little extra blue line up at the top, you have an extra countdown going where if you just finished the pre-licensing, Primerica is going to put an extra 50 into your field training bonus account. If you're going to do it anyway, just do it a little bit faster. You just have to get the chapters done, right? And pass your state's version of the either pre-license or the certificate exam or the readiness exam, whatever you see. 70% pass it. I don't care if you Google the answers. Just pass it, lock in the extra bonus, and then we're going to schedule your exam. You're still going to have another week to study. Okay. So, chastity, for you, you're still in this window. If you're going to finish it anyway, just finish it a little bit faster, lock in the extra 50. Okay. All right. So, last piece, really quick. East Coast Builder School for everybody this month, right now, for the remainder of the month. Anybody that does at least one life app, I will reimburse your ticket if you don't have one yet. Okay. So Michelle, I don't know if you're on yet. I know you're cooking, right? I haven't even posted it yet. Right before this, Michelle and I just helped her sister and her brother-in-law. So I'm going to pay for Michelle's ticket. Also, on the five appointment setting, right? If you set five kitchen table appointments, instead of getting that 25 bucks, I would rather pay for your East Coast Builder School ticket right now because you would actually come out ahead on that. Because right now, since we're past December, the tickets are a little more expensive. Okay. For those of you guys that don't have tickets yet, do me a favor, put it in the Zoom chat. If you don't have a ticket yet, because what I can also do is I can go buy 10 tickets and just pay a flat 25 bucks. And then we get a block of tickets that way. You guys don't pay a bunch of silly fees. I can make it cheaper for everybody. I just need to know that there's at least a shot of getting some of those used up. Otherwise, I'm just out 250 bucks and I'm not really into that. So, so let me know if you don't have a ticket yet and you're interested, want that, right? Then let me know. Because I would rather do it that way, and then that way you guys don't pay a bunch of silly fees, and we can get them done. I just don't want to be stuck with a bunch of tickets. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, guys, do me a favor, reach out to your people and just kind of take like an internal poll. I will gladly go get a block of 10 tickets, and we can do that as long as we have a way to kind of use those up. Okay. All right. So real quick, Primerica. We're a publicly traded company, guys. This says 130,000 licensed reps. We're actually closer to 162,000 right now. This slide's a little bit old, but that's across the Canada and every state in the country, Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Islands, everywhere. All right, we're publicly traded. The company is worth somewhere around 8 to 8.5 billion dollars, depending on the market day. Earlier this year, we actually clicked over into what we call large cap territory. We were worth $10 billion dollars at one point. Market was up really high. Everything was crap, like was just kicking. We were worth $10 billion dollars at one point. Okay. We've been in business since 1977. We're coming up on our 50-year anniversary soon, right? So convention in July of 2027 is going to celebrate Primerica's 50th birthday. Over over 3 million investment clients now and close to 6 million life insurance clients. Guys, we are really, really big. We're a big company, right? That's the major takeaway from this. We are a huge company. Some award stuff you guys may or may not have ever seen before. Primerica is Better Business Bureau rated A plus. You can take Better Business Bureau ratings sort of with a grain of salt. Better Business Bureaus are local. It's kind of a popularity contest. You got to pay to be in it anyway. It is what it is, right? But been in business at this time 48 years, and we've been accredited with the Better Business Bureau since 1980. So whenever you're hearing someone just sort of like run their mouth about the company, right? I'm giving you guys some ammunition right now. If you literally Google Primerica and Forbes, this is the image that comes up, right? Primerica and Forbes and click images. This is what comes up. There might even be new ones because I made this slide deck a little while ago. But like best in insurance in 2022, 5 years, best employers for women from Forbes, America's best mid-sized employers in 24, most trustworthy financial company 2015. Guys, it's crazy. There's a ton of good out there. But put it in the Zoom chat. If you're going looking for something, do you generally find what you're looking for? If I go looking for bad, I'm going to find bad. If I'm going to go looking for good, I will find good. And so this is just ammunition for you guys because I want you to see this. You need to know this stuff. This stuff is out there. We have an entire company corporate like award website as well. That way you can go look at this up and I'll show it to you after this. Right? You guys have seen this before. I'm not going to belabor this, but these are all of the things that we do. So when you guys think about yourselves, right? Think about yourselves in the middle, put your name in the middle. You become the access point to all of these different things for your people. Obviously, life insurance is a big deal. It's the thing everybody has to get licensed for first, and it's the one thing with our name on it. And so it's kind of a big deal because we truly believe our life insurance product is the best term product on the market because we only do term. Okay. These are all the investment companies that we work with. Think of them as just like the wholesalers. We work with them. Answer Financial does all the auto, home, and small business insurance. Vivint, home security, monitoring, that sort of thing. Identity theft sort of speaks for itself. It's sort of like Legal Shield, and then or sort of like LifeLock, and then Legal Shield handles all of our, wills, powers of attorney, trusts, estate planning type stuff. And then mortgages, if anybody is into or wants to get into getting a mortgage license at some point, let me know. We can kind of go down that path. But the normal process is you get your life insurance license and then you move into investment licensing. We give you all the curriculum. You don't have to pay for it. We give it to you. All right. The only thing you pay for is the exam, and then you get reimbursed when you pass. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, so why Primerica Life, right? The the thing really quick is so much built-in value for the policy, right? A lot of other companies, they'll sell you sort of like think about flying on like Ryanair if you're going into Europe, right? Or Spirit Air here in the States. Yeah, you paid for your seat, but if you want water, you're going to pay for that. You want a seatbelt, you're probably going to pay for that too. Your bag, you're definitely paying for that. Your carry-on, you're paying for that. Whereas our policy is still very, very affordable, but almost everything that you would really even want in a life insurance policy is kind of built in. Okay. So everything comes inside of it. We have terms that go out to 35 years. They're level, meaning the price today is the price at the end. Renewable, like affordable renewal rates. When you get to the end of your term, you do not have to prove insurability medically, meaning you get to the end of the term and then you say, hey, I still want my coverage. You could be in the hospital on your deathbed with stage 99 cancer. And if you're ready to renew your policy, it's going to get more expensive because you're going to be older, but it will not cost you any more because you're sick. And they're not going to decline you because you're sick. Guaranteed insurability. Okay. Waiver of premium, we'll go over that. Terminal illness benefit, another feature, right? It's like a living benefit. You get really, really sick. You find out you got 6 months to live. You can access 40% of your policy in cash. Do whatever the heck you want with it. It's built into the policy. You don't pay any extra. Okay. Automatic increase request. Some of you guys have seen this. If we're doing a power term, sometimes you come back instantly approved, and sometimes it comes back cheaper. There you go, right? That's the automatic increase request and real-time underwriting. This is a big one. A child rider for any child that's a minor. So that's your actual child, stepchild, niece or nephew if they live with you, or grandchild. You can put all of them on one child rider. It'll cost you about 14 bucks. They're covered for 25,000 each. My record to date is 15 on one child rider for a whopping 14 bucks. All 15 of this client's grandchildren were covered. Pretty cool. So somebody's going to beat me, or somebody's going to beat my record at some point. I will have a client that puts more on there. I think it took me longer to put all the children on the child rider than it did to do the entire application. Here's a big one for people that know military people or people that are just concerned about it. No war or terror clause in our policy, right? So meaning like, God forbid, something like 9/11 happened again. When 9/11 happened, there were a lot of companies that immediately called the lawyers and said, hey, is this war or terror? Do we have to pay? A lot of companies did not pay at first. There were two companies that paid immediately, USAA and Primerica. Guys, we had we didn't even have bodies yet. We didn't have death certificates yet. We just knew that we had clients that worked inside of the World Trade Center. There's an entire team at Primerica that monitors like natural disasters or big sort of events like that. And they're scrubbing lists and databases instantly. You guys remember when the Vegas happened or the Vegas shooting happened a few years ago? There was a client in Vegas that died. His family didn't even know he still had a Primerica life insurance policy. We sent one of our senior national sales directors to that beneficiary's home with a check for $400,000. She hadn't made a death claim. She didn't know. We just showed up. That's the kind of company that you work for, that you represent. So that's to me, that's huge, right? Because people ask me all the time, like, why here, right? Like, why did you go to Primerica? I said, well, I really didn't go to Primerica. Primerica kind of found me. But once I started learning more and more about it, that's why I'll never leave. Okay. So power term versus precision term, guys, the the insurance inside of the policy is the exact same. It's still level term, still goes out to 35 years if a client's young enough to have it. But some of the stuff that's different about power term is maybe you have a client that's like afraid of doctors, right? Maybe you have a client that's relatively young and the odds of them, right, completing their medical exam may be pretty low. Maybe they only need a little bit of coverage, 100,000, 50,000, whatever. You would probably do a power term in that situation. Okay. The client doesn't have to do a medical exam. The cost is a little higher, right? So the trade-off, if you're not getting the actual like underwriting done, the cost is a little bit higher, but that's because we're kind of just taking your word for it. But we're still checking medical records, right? So your prescription history still gets pulled, your medical records still get pulled and verified quickly, but no medical exam. The most coverage that you can have though is 300,000 if you're 45 and below. Above 45, the max coverage starts to drop off. Okay. And I can sort of go through like a real-time quote with the quote tool if you guys want. Just know that power term, no medical exam, max coverage is 300,000. And it is slightly more expensive than if you were to do the medical exam. Upside though, you might get real-time approval. And if somebody needs something quick, or if there's pretty much like a snowball's chance in hell that they're going to do a medical exam, start with power term. Okay. Precision term. Now, again, the insurance inside is the same, but now we're looking at maybe somebody needs closer to a half a million or more. Now we definitely have to do a medical exam, right? So start looking at that 500 to 750 level. Those are the banding levels where the client's coverage is going to get a little cheaper. There is no max. If you're going to go somewhere above like 2.5 or 3 million, it may require like a special approval from home office. They're not going to tell you no, but the client still has to qualify for it. Okay. There are minimum coverages. Most of the time it's 150,000, but if you have a little bit older client, it comes down to about 50. Now, the medical exam, it's free. It's just part of the application, guys. So if somebody's worried about that, don't let them fret. We'll schedule it for them. Heck, you might even be able to get somebody to come to the house, right? The one I just did, we're gonna have the medical examiner go to their house. Makes life super simple for them. Okay, it's free, it's part of the application. Help your clients look better on paper. Let them know that scheduling in the morning is better, right? We want them to be fasted if possible because they kind of get one shot on paper to look really, really good. And the better they look on paper, the higher their chances are of coming back at least with that standard rating and maybe even preferred, right? Because if it came back cheaper, they're never going to be mad at you. So that we want to give them the best chance for that. Okay. So here's sort of the way the initial like terms work. And this is all just assuming that you were gonna like renew it. You didn't ever get like another policy in the interim, or you didn't maybe need another policy. But your initial level term can carry you all the way to age 80. Okay. Let's say you took your term at 25, it took you to 60. You could renew it then for another 5 years and then another 5 years. But once you hit 70, it goes into like annual renewable, right? Don't stress on some of this stuff. Just know that you can carry this all the way to 95, or we can convert it to a decreasing term to 100 at the end of your term. There's a lot of extras in there. If we need more explanation on that, I can go into like a specific training on conversion options. Most of it is not really going to matter. Just know that when a client gets to the end of the policy, they have a lot of options. It's not just convert to a whole life and then pray you can pass a medical exam. Just know that at the end of every term, worst case scenario, you can renew it. It'll just be more expensive because you'll be older, but you can always decrease it as well to make it more affordable. Okay. Okay. One of the things that's in the policy that we don't really talk about too much is the increasing benefit rider. Now, it is optional after the first year, meaning you don't have to keep it. Okay. So this is an actual like extract from a policy. But the increasing benefit rider is sort of like inflation protection. Because think about it. If you had a $500,000 today, or let's just say rewind to like the year 2000, was a $500,000 in 2000 going to get you way more or less than it would today? Way more, right? Over time, that inflation is going to eat away at your purchasing power. Well, we know that. And so we give you a built-in option to sort of protect your purchasing power of your life insurance. Every year, Primerica adds an extra 10% of your policy on in terms of a rider. So, like if you look at this one, right, in year one, the client's 26, doesn't cost her anything because we're not giving them any extra coverage. This table is based on a $150,000 policy. Beginning in year two, the client's now 27. It costs her an extra whopping $2, and she's got an extra 15,000 in coverage. That's if she wants it, if they want it. If they decide they don't want it, we just delete it. It goes away. They never pay for any extra coverage. Their original policy still stays the exact same price for as long as they had the contract for, but they can never put this back on. Okay. If you free, you can also freeze it. Like, let's say she goes 4 or 5 years. Now she's paying an extra $8. She's got an extra 60 grand in coverage. Okay. If you freeze it, it's frozen there. Or let's just say she just lets it ride, right? She just lets it rip, right? For the first 10 years, every year she gets an extra 10%. So this extra amount is creeping up. So she's got her 150,000 plus 15 plus 30 plus 45 and so on. Now, starting in year 11, right? Years 11 through 20, she's 36. She's paying an extra $21 for 150,000 extra in coverage. That's a 10-year extra term that just goes, right? She's never had to qualify for this. She could get stage 99 cancer right here and keep living, and they would keep giving her that extra 10% if she had never gotten rid of it. It's guaranteed, right? It's built in. You don't have to qualify. Now, starting in year 21, right? This is usually where we would never let a client keep it because normally the price kind of gets astronomical. This isn't even that bad, but she'd be way better off just getting another term that would go for like another 30 years and not mess with this because this is just going to keep getting more expensive. Does that make sense? Did I over explain it? Can anybody else that's not fully licensed explain that pretty simply? Maybe. You want to take a stab at it? Not yet. Just know it's built in. They don't have to keep it. It's guaranteed, right? They don't have to qualify for it. And if you get to a certain point, you can always get rid of it. It's optional. But if you get rid of it, you cannot put it back on. So sort of like trade-offs, okay? Personally, for me, I leave it on, right? Because with all of my health record stuff right now with my VA claim, my medical file is like this. If I tried to go like what, 6 years from now, apply for another 500,000 in coverage, the odds of me getting it at 50, not good, right? But at 50, I'm going to have another 500,000 on my base policy with Primerica. It'll be cheaper than my first 500,000 and it'll be good for another 10 years. I like that because the odds of me, because I know that 6 years from now, me getting approved for it, are probably like odds of it are zero. Okay. So just know that. Everybody always asks me, well, not everybody, but I get asked a lot, where in the policy does it say that I don't have to pass a medical exam, that I'm guaranteed to be insurable? Well, right here. It's in part six, somewhere around page, I don't know, 58, depending on the size of the policy, right? It's towards the back. Part six, terms of exchange. Do you have to provide evidence of insurability to exchange your coverage? No, we will not require evidence of insurability. In layman's terms, right? Not a lawyer, no medical exam. Can't be declined. It's as simple as that. This is where in the policy, though, it actually exists and you can show a client, nope, right here. These are all of the different ways that you can exchange the coverage at the end. Exchanging meaning not just renew the policy, okay? Annual increasing premium insurance age to 100. That means if you kept the policy the exact same, like say my client kept that 150,000, right? She wants that coverage every year she gets older after a certain point, it will get more expensive. Okay, we know that. Or she could keep the price the same and then decreasing term to 100. Price stays the same, but every year she gets less coverage. Okay, so that's decreasing term. Plus, between now and 30 some odd years from now, any other plan we come up with, that becomes an option for like new clients then would be then be available for our current clients or existing clients. Does that make sense? I know this stuff gets kind of dry, but I want you guys to be able to see some of this and kind of understand some of this, okay? Because this piece right here is why we are able to fight against like cash value whole life policies as well. Because most people that are like really, really stuck on whole life, they're like, well, what if at the end my term's over? But well, your term's never over unless you want it to be. But you also shouldn't need this much coverage 35 years from now. Because as long as we're investing, by the time you get there, you're going to be self-insured. Right. So that's why buy term and invest always wins. Oh, don't look at this. That's old. This right here, right? So the five client appointments, I want to throw this back out there. If you don't have a ticket yet for ECBS and you have set your five appointments, or, and I'm going to throw this on here because I just didn't have time to update this slide, or anyone that does an app, any life app, right? As long as it processes, I will reimburse you. Or if I get enough feedback that says we want the tickets, I will go get a block of tickets tonight from Rick. Just kind of let me know, guys. There's three or four that are out there right now. And uh, if we get closer to that 10 range, I would much rather you guys have a ticket for ECBS than 25 bucks, right? That ticket, the ticket and the training that you're going to get from being, even if you're just on Zoom, even if you're just on Zoom, it's going to be worth way more than 25 bucks. I promise you. I promise you. Let me make sure I don't have anything else in here. Okay, let me come back to this. Let me come back to this. Sue Ellen, confirm amount will decrease annually and not monthly. Yes. So let me go back, right? And so when we do decreasing term to 100, it when it renews, at that point, your payment is set, and then every year you get older, your coverage will go down, but your price will stay the same. Right? There will be some point where it kind of wouldn't make any sense anymore in terms of like what you're getting in coverage versus what you're paying, but you're probably going to be in your like late 80s or 90s at that point, right? We should have probably gotten rid of it a long time ago, depending on when that was. Okay. And so just a second, let me let my dog out because he's about to bark. Go. But let me do this. Are there any questions on anything that I went over at all? And there's no dumb question, right? Guys, feel free, unmute yourself. It's just us, right? So no, there's not like a couple hundred of us like bebopping around right now. But any questions on this stuff? Because I want you guys to understand it. Even if you're licensed, right? Don't worry because if you have a question, then somebody who's fairly new is definitely got a question. So what do you got? Anything? Nothing. Okay. Let me check the chats here really quick. Okay. Okay. So if there's no other questions on that, let me show you guys something else. And I'm actually going to talk about this tomorrow morning on the Wolfpack call for training. Let me get rid of this. If you're licensed and appointed, you have access to some different training tools right now. Why does this keep doing this? In Primerica. So like on POL and in the app as well. So let me pull this up. Pray that it actually logs in and doesn't give me that weird, stupid gateway error. Oh my gosh. I don't know what updates they're doing at home office, but they just need to quit. See, I'm gonna lose my mind. They just need to knock it off. This is so annoying. While I'm getting this to eventually load, has anyone used the live training hub yet? Anybody that's licensed? Yeah, I agree, Angela. It is so slow. It is driving me insane because this stuff keeps happening. Breathe, 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 breathe. Okay, let me try this. I did this earlier and it worked. I pulled up like a private window because it clears the cookies every time. And so I just had to like fully log in and get the code. But I think this might be the way. Give me the code. Lord. Okay, finally. All right. So if you're licensed and appointed, a couple of different ways, right? If you log into your app and you're newly licensed, right at the top, it gives you the Life Training Hub. It's just sort of like a cool tutorial and a way to walk through some stuff. If you've been licensed for a while, if you go to products and life insurance, it's right here. Oh, right here. Life Training Hub. It's pretty cool. So let's hope this loads. Keep your fingers crossed, guys. Maybe, maybe. It's thinking about it. It's thinking real hard. Oh, okay. So you have to be appointed, right? Meaning you've got your license and you're legal to go write business. Um, actually, can somebody that's not licensed go try to get into that and just see if it's there? Chastity, I know you're sitting in front of your computer. Can you try that? Can you log on to POL and just see if you can get to it? Because we asked them to make it available in the past. I just don't know if it ever got done or not. But you can kind of like go in here and take these little quizzes. It just teaches you more about the policies. It just teaches you more about like some of the features and things that are built into the policies. So that this is pretty cool. There's also, once you're licensed, you can go uh, into Turbo Apps and into the Life application widget, and you can do a practice app. The cool thing about the practice app is it walks you through some of the different, well, every screen, right? So start a life app or a practice app right here. It'll walk you through all of the different screens. You can't screw it up. But what it won't let you do is actually input data, right? It won't let you sort of like go through that. But it tells you, right? It shows you the screen and then gives you like the tutorial about different things along the way. And so if like for people that have passed an exam but have not been appointed yet, this is an area where I would talk to your trainer um, in terms of like using their login to be able to log in with them, right, and access that. There is a massive level of trust that goes on with that, but it would at least give you a way to sort of start playing with that. Okay, now you can't go write naps. Don't be going rogue and trying to like be a cowboy because it's not going to really do much for you anyway. But you would be able then to access that, and it's a way to work through that. Um, there's also a way to do a practice IBA. Right. So one, on the IBA side of things, you don't have to be licensed to do it. You can do independent business application for somebody like right now, and you don't have to have a license. So like especially if you're just going to bump a bonus, right? Go to Turbo Apps and then right here where it says IBA, independent business application, you don't need a license. You can go do this right now, right? So like Chastity, I'm gonna just keep using you because you're on my screen right now. If you hit start new IBA, you can do it for a new contact. You could literally go recruit one of the kids right now and set yourself up for your next bonus. They still have to sign the DocuSign, pay the whatever, right? You don't need to register them. You don't need to do anything. You could then delete their IBA later, request a refund. You get a partial refund back. Your bonus still stays though, like the credit would still stay on your bonus. If you just want to kind of jump in and play around though, you can hit start a practice app and then hit new contact. It says right here, practice mode. Just be careful when the time comes you're actually going through it that it doesn't say practice mode because then if you do it, you have to start all over. It doesn't let you like convert it. Okay. But you can do it for everything. It'll let you walk all the way into the payment information. So you get to see what every single screen looks like. That way you can familiarize yourself, right? And then let me see if it'll let me. Okay. So like this is how we say, look, guys, we can run appointments for you. And even if you're not there, you're still going to get credit for it. Right. Like let's say I'm running an appointment for Angela and I pull this up, well, I don't want to recruit them to me if they're for Angela. So I would just come in here and I would type Weber. Boom. Now, right, I still do the application the exact same way, but Angela will get the credit for this, even though I'm the one doing it. So if you guys have ever wondered how we're running your appointments for you or your trainer is, but you're still getting the credit, that's how. Okay. Not in practice mode though, right? Make sure you're in real mode. But I just wanted to throw that out there because the faster we all get, if we're new, right? The faster we get to at least independently running, chats if your social media stuff is set up, and then running your own recruiting appointments and interviews. Because the beginning of an interview and a recruiting appointment is the exact same intro beginning of a client appointment for the majority, right? The most time. You're just kind of explaining the company and explaining a little bit about what we do, right? Sharing the blue page. Um, if you kind of had like a lot of lead up and there's already a discussion, like tonight, we kind of knew we were jumping into it. I didn't want to waste a lot of time on that because I knew Michelle had kind of already talked to her sister a little bit. So, right, that's just sort of play it by ear. But if it's just like straight up, hey, I don't know what's going on, yeah, go through the exact same blue page presentation, just like the one that got most of you here. Okay. Well, listen, guys, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, right? Like if we're good and you guys are comfortable on everything that we just went over, then we'll kind of just call it early. Like again, I'm training to standard. I'm not training to time, right? We're not going to sit here and stare at each other until 9 just because. Um, but if you guys have specific questions, maybe you're just afraid to ask in front of the crowd, send me a text, right? Send me a text with a question because then I can answer it and I will answer it in Telegram. That way everybody gets to see that. Um, yeah, appointments, questions on anything, guys. Whether it's setting appointments, licensing, how do I schedule my exam? Hey, I'm pre-licensing complete, but I haven't scheduled my exam yet. How do I do that? Bonuses, right? Angela's just throwing some great ideas out there. If there's
I guess I have one,
Mhm.
maybe. I'm
Go.
not clear on. So if somebody brings a policy, we go over that policy. They realize this is not the best policy for them. We help them get a newer one that's
Mhm.
better. Do we have any involvement in letting the other company know through our channels that they are no longer going to use that, or do they have to go home and
Great
do all
question.
that?
Great question. So remember, always let a client know that if we're applying, and scenario happened tonight, right? I said, hey, look, don't go canceling that 10-year term,
Mhm.
even though we know we're getting rid of it eventually, if you decide to. But don't cancel anything until we have ours back and we know it's exactly like what you want and we're getting put it into force, meaning we're actually accepting the policy. At that point, they need to just call their old company and cancel, right? Because I never say on the application when I'm listing a client's current policy, I never say that I'm replacing it because here's why. Because if what if they decide not to? Because if I say yes to that replacement, when we do that application, as soon as it comes back and it's in force, we are canceling that policy. It happens automatically. I don't want that to happen automatically. The client in that interim might have something changed life-wise where they would have just rather have kept it. So I never on the application where it comes to life insurance in force, if they have it, list it. Sure. If it's a work policy, don't even bother because like who cares? But if they have something private, they have it. Like tonight, she didn't have her contract information, she didn't have her policy information. She knew her coverage and she knew the company, right? So I put the company in. When you put the company's name in, it automatically searches it. So it'll put that information in, put their coverage amount, roundabout when they got it. I didn't have her policy number, so I just put UNK unknown, right? Like it's doing the most correct thing at the time versus just not. But no. So great question. We're not canceling their policy for them. The client would then reach back out to the company and cancel it themselves. But it's generally very simple, especially if they've had the policy for a little while, if it's a term, especially, right? And if the company's being real dumb about it, tell them just on their banking info to just put a block on the charge. Let it write itself out because it'll have about a 60-day, 30-day grace and then a 60-day lapse period. They'll actually have the extra coverage for 60 days and then it'll lapse after that if they just put a block on the charge if the company's being like really really stubborn about it. Guys, if you have a client and they call Primerica, they don't even have to talk to you, right? If they call Primerica and cancel their policy, Primerica is always going to cancel their policy. The client's always right? But for us as agents, we should always be checking our life conservation just to see what is kind of going on and what's out there. Because sometimes the client didn't call to cancel, but they miss a payment because they changed the banking info, they got hacked, whatever, they changed the checking, but they forget like all of the things that are coming out. So that's why we as agents always go in and check that life conservation at least once a week. Okay. Any other questions, Jen? Okay. But yeah, guys, definitely do not, because here's what's going to happen, right? If a client wants to move forward and they're like, well, yeah, but I don't want to pay for this and that. And you say, totally get that, but you would never want to be in a position where you have like a lapse in coverage of some form, where you cancel this one that you already had. This one's not fully enforced yet with us, and maybe something goes haywire and your medical records get crossed and somebody's alcoholism treatment gets put on your medical records. I bring that up because it's happened. From a place a person was never lived in, right? All of a sudden he gets rated healthy as a horse because he got treatment for alcohol abuse, but he's never had it. Guys, stuff gets like wires get crossed, right? Like, and so like, and he still didn't put that policy in force with us yet because he wanted that removed before he ever put it in force. We're still in the process of doing that. That's why you never cancel a client's current coverage. Okay. So that's why. Listen, I would never want you to be in a position where God forbid something happened, you canceled this one and this one's not enforced yet and something went wrong and now there's nothing. That makes sense. Am I right? Right. And then tie them down, right? You want that yes answer. So listen, what we're going to do is we're just going to apply, see how it comes back. And when it comes back, we'll get back together. We'll go over everything, make sure it's exactly what you wanted. And when you're happy with this one, then we'll get rid of that other one. That makes the most sense, right? And as long as you sort of phrase it like that and you're asking questions, you're getting those agreements along the way, it just people are gonna agree because that's rational, right? You can't really argue with that, right? Yeah. So Danielle, 100%, right? We never want to get rid of that old one before getting this one back and knowing exactly what it is. So anything else, guys? We'll let Miss Jen go. Anything else? I mean, serious, anything. Yeah, yeah. Once their policy with us is good to go, they can call their old company and cancel it immediately. And depending on when their last payment drafted, they might even get a portion of it back retroactively or prorated. It just depends on the company and that sort of thing. Well, cool
I did
guys.
have a kind of a different answer financial thing that came up yesterday that was interesting. I don't know if
Go
you want
for
me
it.
to share it, but
Yeah, why not?
when I talked to Helen about this new property they bought and asked her if she called to see if she could get it covered through Answer Financial, she said, yes, I did use that number. And guess what we found out when I called? And I said, what? She goes, no one can cover us because in one of our rental properties, a dog bit a visiting person in the apartment or in the home. And that person had to go to the hospital and get treated. And then that company had to pay out. And they put a blacklist on them about getting insurance just about anywhere, like new home insurance.
Oh
So
my
they had to
gosh.
go through a bunch of hoops to like try to find a agency that was willing to insure that home because nobody else would do it. And Answer Financial let them know, I'm seeing a block on your ability to get home insurance.
And they didn't know prior, right?
Yeah, they knew that the incident had happened. They knew that the people had paid out, but they had no idea that they were blocked out from getting more insurance.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. She goes, but I did try it. I tried to use y'all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so like in Florida, the Answer Financial is very hit or miss because Florida is crazy when it comes to insurance anyway. Every time we've called, we've never been able to save any money with them, but I swear every time I call, we learn something new. So the last time we called, we actually found out that our car insurance rates have been a lot higher because she said we had like two extra like comprehensive claims outside of some accidents that we had been in that we were not at fault at, unfortunately. But the comprehensive claims were glass claims, like for window chips. And those were counting against us almost the same as the car accidents were. She goes, yeah, just make sure you guys need to update your LexisNexis. You need to call. They have to run it when you request it. You dispute it as a glass repair, not a comprehensive claim. And I was just like, holy moly, lady. Like when that gets fixed, get this. When those things get fixed, our next round, our annual car insurance will go down by $4,000. That's what happens when you have teenage drivers in Florida, by the way. But nonetheless, that phone call, even though she couldn't save me any money with policies with them will save us going forward 4 grand a year. It's crazy. You just make the phone call. You just you never know. But no one had ever told us that before. And I've called Answer Financial a few times. I got the right lady. Again, guys, you just never know. So even if you've called before and they couldn't save anything, call again. Rates change all the time. Your own like driving history and stuff changes all the time. And so you just never know. Before your stuff renews, call. And if you're in a position to pay like for 6 months at a time, you'll get a massive discount versus just doing it monthly. Massive, huge, big time. Yeah, just because of a window chip. It was nuts because it was listed as a comprehensive claim, like an accident, not a glass repair. Thanks, Progressive. It just it just is. But all right, guys, anything else? Any other questions? Anything random? But yeah, remember, we're way more than just life insurance. But tonight I wanted to focus on the life insurance specifically because, right, it's what everybody's first license is. And then Michelle actually asked me a great question earlier. She said, "Hey, what's the next logical license?" Well, it's your investment license because if you ever want to be a regional vice president, which I hope somebody does, because as soon as we promote 3 regional vice presidents, we become senior vice presidents. So I'm highly incentivized to promote regional vice presidents. Highly. So your first investment license that your exam that you'll take is your SIE, your Securities Industrials Essential, right? So it's sort of like a inch deep and a mile wide. It kind of covers everything securities related. Then your next one is Series 6. Jen, fun fact for you, all you need is a SIE and a Series 6 in Florida, and you become a registered rep only for Florida. Then the next one is a Series 63. That's the one that would let you get licensed in any state in the country for investments. For everybody outside of Florida, Louisiana, Colorado, and Puerto Rico, nobody Puerto Rico here, but anyone outside of those 4 states, you have to have all three to be considered a registered representative. Okay. Once you get into that process, I always recommend going and just getting all three of them knocked out. Once you start, spend about a month, 30 days-ish on your SIE. Past that, immediately start studying for your Series 6. We have to do some paperwork. You pass your Series 6, immediately start studying for your 63 and take it within about 2 weeks. Because your brain is already primed and you've already been in that mode, just don't stop. If you stop, it gets way harder to pick it back up and get going again, right? But we'll cross that bridge when we get there for most of you guys. The other side of it is you don't ever have to get that license if you don't want to. You can make plenty of money on just the life side. Okay. Just know that you sort of cap at that 80% point at that point. Yeah, you can always do mortgage side, right? We don't have anybody that does the mortgage side yet. That's a whole different ball of wax in terms of licensing and training and all that kind of stuff. But right, refis are coming, right? Refi season's coming, and so it would definitely be a lucrative stream for sure. So, all right, guys. I'm out. We're a little bit early. I know we ended up going a little longer, but those are some great questions. I will get the recording out here shortly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's progressive right now with us, right? Even though they authorized the glass repairs and the glass repairs were like maybe $80 total, it's still counting against us as a comprehensive claim, and they won't change it. So, but even with that right now, they're still the cheapest. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying. Um, but yeah, I'll get the recording out there, guys, and you'll have all that. And oh, Zoom user, do me a favor. Um, in your settings for Zoom, just change your name. That way, when you log in, it pops up as your actual name because that way, when you're meeting with clients, you don't want to just show up as Zoom user. You want it to at least show up as your actual name. So. All right, guys, have a great night. Tomorrow morning, if you want, I'm going to do a more in-depth training on the Life Training Hub, stuff about, our actual life insurance, the applications and all that. I'll put the link out there in the morning. It's at 8 a.m. Eastern every day from 8 to 9 Eastern in the mornings. It's a leadership meeting. If you want to log into those, you're more than welcome. it's where you get like the most like actual like day-to-day leadership training and like business training. They're optional. You do not have to, right? It's just out there. But yeah, I will get that out there in the morning, and the Wolfpack link never changes either. If you want, just save it to your computer. All right, guys, have a great night. And if you have any questions, send it over, and I will get it taken care of, and I'll post the answer in the Telegram chat as well. See ya.